In March last year, QantasLink began operations with its new game-changing A220. I was on that first flight and reviewed their economy class. But what's its business class like, being Qantas Group's newest business class product on the game-changing A220? Well, come along and I'll tell you about my experience on a flight from Sydney to Hobart and tell you what's good and what's not. Welcome to Sydney's Kingsford Smith International Airport. I've just arrived in from Auckland on Qantas Boeing 787, also in business class. A review about that flight's already out on my channel. So I've got a transfer from Terminal 1, the international terminal, to Terminal 3, the Qantas terminal. Qantas has a transfer lounge sort of area just outside Terminal 1. But since it's just outside, if you're arriving from an international flight, you'll need to go through immigration and customs first. At this Qantas transfer lounge, which is what I'm going to be calling it, there was priority queues, but it wasn't really helping because economy seemed to be moving the same or quicker. I needed to recheck my baggage, but I already had my boarding pass. And then there's a bit of a bus ride across the airport to Terminal 3. With a business class ticket, you do get access to their business class lounges. I've been lucky enough to go to the one here in Sydney quite a few times, so I'm not going to review it too much today. But here's some clips from my past visits. I did go and get some stuff to take away though, and the lounge staff were very friendly. Based on my past experiences at the lounge, it's generally got a solid selection, and it does offer great views. But like a lot of Qantas lounges, it could do with a renovation, which I think it is gonna get. I had a fair bit of time in between flights, so naturally I did a fair bit of plane spotting. There's my ride to Hobart. Victor Hotel X-Ray 4 Alpha is a 2023 built Airbus A220-300 delivered new to QantasLink in December 2023, making it Qantas' first A220. This aircraft features the latest of Qantas Flying Art Series special liveries, with this one featuring over 20,000 dots. I think it's a beautiful livery. What do you think? I'd be interested to hear in the comments. QantasLink currently has 5 Airbus A220s in its fleet, but it has a further 24 on order.
QantasLink flight to F15032 Hobart now boarding through gate 10.
Unfortunately, we got what I think is one of the most annoying gates here, because you can hardly see the plane. I thought it was worth noting that Terminal 3 was a lot quieter when my flight departed compared to when I arrived. Boarding started I think about 10 minutes late. Welcome on board one of QantasLink's A220s, featuring 10 Recaro CL4710 seats in business class in a 2-2 configuration, which is followed by 127 Recaro BL3710 seats in economy class, with that being in a 2-3 layout. My seat for this flight will be 2A. Each business class seat comes with an adjustable headrest. As expected, during boarding, I did think that the cabin still looked nice and new. Now let's take a quick look at the seat features. For business class, the legroom was kind of surprisingly just okay. I believe it's about 37 inches. It's worth noting this pole thingy which is here, which took a little bit of space away from my seat. The seat also features a leg rest, as well as the standard seat back pocket, which contains some literature. There we go. There's also a device holder which seems to have this thingy which you can pull up, which I imagine helps it hold an iPad or something, but I'm just guessing. You could probably store something little back there too. Both USB-A and USB-C outlets are installed. Oh, and there's also a nice little light at the top of the seat. And there is a coat hook. In the armrest you'll find a bifoldable tray table. I think that ledge is a nice touch. It would help things to not fall off so easily. There's a little cocktail table there. Just down there you've got some seat controls, and another set of USB-A and USB-C charging outlets. And there's even a wireless charging pad. So with all of that other charging, I didn't mind so much that there wasn't a universal power socket. There's also this not particularly clean looking storage compartment here.
That's great, Sandy. We'd appreciate your attention during our safety briefing today.
It's now time for pushback, about 11 minutes behind schedule.
Pull down on it firmly to activate the flow of oxygen. Put it on quickly and tighten the strap. Oxygen will flow without the bag inflating. Your aircraft has escape slides and life rafts which the crew will operate in an emergency. If you have to evacuate, leave all items behind. Smoking, vaping and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted anywhere on board. QantasLink aircraft are fitted with smoke detectors, including in the toilets. Before we get underway, make sure all your bags are either in the overhead locker or under the seat in front of you. If you have electronic devices, be sure to turn them to flight mode before takeoff.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It would seriously help me out so much and I would appreciate it very much. It would also help me to make more flight reviews. Also, feel free to check out my Instagram if you like, at aviation763_, where I post updates of my trips. But if you don't want to do any of that, that's completely okay. It's now time for takeoff on runway 34 right. After takeoff, I smelled food.
If you're in the main cabin between rows 4 and 29, you'll find 2 toilets at the rear of the aircraft. Once again, it's a pleasure having you on board.
On offer today was a ploughman's plate or a Wagyu beef mushroom pie. I'm assuming there wasn't more options earlier. Included in the drink options for today, there was alcoholic beverages, as you'd expect. I went with the ploughman's plate and was asked if I wanted some bread and how much, so I asked for 2. This was served alongside some butter, and also there was some crackers which I assume was for the cheeses. Lastly for food, there was a pink salted vanilla cocoa black chocolate. They didn't have orange juice, but they did have apple juice, so I got that, and also a sparkling water. Also, when I was asked about the meal, I do think I was addressed by name.
Would your QantasLink A220 service to Hobart? currently cruising flight 36,000 feet, and we're just passing overhead rig and heavy disembarking again schedule. There is a cold front passing through Tasmania, so we are expecting some wet conditions for our arrival. Hope you enjoy the rest of the flight, and you enjoy your evening in Hobart. G'day.
The bread was nice with some butter, the cheeses were tasty on the crackers, and the grapes were solid grapes. However, the almonds tasted very stale to me. I also thought that the presentation and portion size of the main dish wasn't very impressive. The crew soon came around and took my tray and asked if I wanted any more drinks. I asked for a chamomile tea. Also, the chocolate seemed tasty, but I'm not a huge fan of white chocolate, so it wasn't my cup of tea, literally. But I do like cocoa black, so it's a good chocolate, I think. The crew came around to collect rubbish after the service. The recline was about what I expected. Here's the seat reclined. There's also like a calf rest. The business class lavatory didn't seem to really have any additional amenities, but I thought it was really noticeably big for a narrow body plane, let alone a regional jet. It was pretty clean too, as I'd expect. As we descend into Hobart, please allow me to quickly conclude this flight with QantasLink. The airport experience was good, the transfer process takes time but was relatively easy. The lounge based on past experience is decent but a bit old. The staff there on this day were amazing. Boarding was fine, it would seem that the group boarding hadn't yet started on QantasLink. The seat was great for a regional jet, and it's really just the legroom that I'd want to be a bit better for transcontinental flights. I'm only about 5'4" by the way. I do like the A220 as a plane to fly on too, and being new, the seat had lots of nice and modern features. The crew were very friendly, but not quite as much so as on my previous Qantas flight, but they seemed to warm up a bit as the flight went on. The in-flight service was underwhelming, as I unfortunately have found to be generally the case, comparatively, in Qantas business class. But this flight in particular, I felt the presentation wasn't great, the almonds seemed stale and the portion was small. I did see the other meal option and it wasn't too big either. However, it is a relatively short flight in a regional jet, so I guess it's okay. But if I got served this on a flight from Melbourne to Brisbane, say, then I wouldn't be so pleased, especially considering the price. The drink selection was okay also. I'm not sure what the alcohol on offer was like. There was free Wi-Fi, and along with streaming entertainment and a device holder, I think that's great for a regional jet. So overall, being in business aside, which I'm very grateful to be able to do it all by the way, it was a good flight. But I thought that Virgin Australia might be better value. And thanks to Qantas cancelling my next flight, I actually got to try out VA's business class after this flight. So I'll save my thoughts for next week's video. But I thought that tagging on this domestic hop onto an international business class flight was worth doing, and I was glad I did it, especially because of the status. It was still a cool experience and not a bad product at all, but the service in particular was not that impressive either. We'll soon pull into the gate in Hobart about 2 minutes or so behind schedule. But for now, please enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Hobart International Airport's runway 12. I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much for watching this video. I'd also like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support is truly so much appreciated, and I couldn't do what I do without them, so thank you so much to them.
Cabin crew, please disarm doors.
I hope you all have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one next Saturday at 5 PM Melbourne time.